Chat that fast.
This is a build-around submission for Sultai Escape. For those not familiar with the new set, Escape is a mechanic that allows you to exile other cards from your graveyard and cast these cards from there. So, Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, escapes by exiling 5 other cards. Polukranos escapes by exiling 6 other cards. He comes back as a 12/12. So this deck is playing a number of cards that flip things into our bin. We've got Binding of the Titans, Tymaret Calls the Dead, like we were playing in the last enchantment deck. We've got some Tamiyo, and we've got some Cavalier of Thorns. Naturally, both the best escape card in Uro and the best escape enabler Cavalier Titans are green this set. One thing that I do have that's a real concern with this deck is there's a chance that we could deck out with some consistency, and part of the problem is that I want to play Murderous Rider and I want to play Cavalier of Thorns, so making enough blue mana consistently to play Jace, Wielder of Mysteries could be a bit of a challenge. So one of the things we're going to need to be watching is, do we have enough gas to be able to end the game before we deck in certain situations? So other than that, we're just kind of a Sultai mid-range deck. We've got some Thought Erasure as interaction along with Rider that I already mentioned. I've also got 4 copies of Wolf Willowhaven here. I mentioned a few times, I think this is probably the best ramp spell in Standard right now with this edition. Very, very good here. Doesn't have the fixing Paradise Druid offers, but much more difficult to interact with. Let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this one and see how it goes. You could play Woe Strider with Murderous Rider to shuffle it back into your deck. That's an interesting thought. Huh. That's a really neat thought, actually. It's an escape card, too. I've got this cheeky quasi-duplicate that it could be a cheeky something else. I kind of like that. I didn't want it like a 9th escape card, but the aspect of being able to loop Murderous Rider so you don't deck out and can keep attacking with stuff actually sounds like a good suggestion. And those are good examples of suggestions. It's, hey, this is a card that solves a problem that you have potentially. So the quasi-duplicate might have been okay, but both of these are legendary anyway, so it's only good with Cavalier. I'm going to play one Woe Strider. See if we can use that as deck out insurance. That JJ, thank you for the 15 months. Welcome back. Can I gift a sub so Declan can talk? He just went out of the room with my wife. Hey, The Winding Road. Thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Pretty easy mulligan here, right? No green sources. Yeah, being able to sack green Cavalier also potentially is very good in spots. This hand sounds great. This can pick up a land or creature from your graveyard. Ooh, this is actually kind of has some synergy with Fabled Passage, right? So Fabled Passage can guarantee this has a land to get back. Release Weekend Hype. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I recognized that one. I don't know why it said it was a new sub. Thanks for the... Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Gibbo, you know. Thanks for hooking up that Prime support. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Plenty of lands to get back. It says, mills 3 cards, then we exile 2 cards from a graveyard, and then we put a creature... So we can exile 2 of these, sure. Their Narset missed here. Do I save Murderous Rider for something better, or I just make sure this doesn't draw a card? I think I just make sure this doesn't do a thing. I'm gonna grab the Breeding Pool, even though it potentially hurts me here, because there's a good chance we mill through a lot of our basics before we play 2 Fabled Passages. And, like, if they don't have exile removal, they're gonna have to, like, deal with this and then deal with it again immediately. So this can fight a creature, can also escape back. The owl can change colors. 2-drop, 2-mana spell here is great. Means I get to curve Erasure plus Tiamat here. Wow! Way to drive my Polukranos down into extinction. You see what they did to my boy, chat? Just massacred my boy. I think I just take the Oracle here, because if they want to power through... Oh, so this is actually a small missequencing on my part. I ended up milling a land, so it doesn't matter, but I should have played Thought Erasure after Calls the Dead, because Calls the Dead mills me over. So if I would have found a card that I wanted to keep on top of my deck, I wouldn't have been able to keep it there. Is worth noting. Small sequencing mishap there on my part. Worth noting that Murderous Rider is also a zombie for Calls the Dead, which is great. Yikes. Yeah, there's a good one. All right, so do I think I want to get this just fetched before I mill all my basics? I'm gonna lead on this to try and get them to use the Kaya's Wrath before I Woe Strider. I got 10 cards in my bin though, so like I can Woe Strider twice, which is great. And this escapes with 2 counters on it, so it escapes as a 5/4. Don't get to watch live much these days. Excited to see Ballista, Heliod, and Pioneer. How much fun can it have before a ban? Do you think it could be? I do think it could be successful in Modern Fusion. I think it also combos with Spike Feeder in Modern. Actually, do I want to kill this? I think I want to just kill this. One thing that's worth considering is that a lot of our data in early Modern formats is going to comes from Magic Online. And because the Spike Feeder and Kitchen Finks combo with Heliod are tedious to click through on MTGO, they're likely going to be very underrepresented compared to what they otherwise could be. Kinda punished in the biggest way possible for... Oh! Okay, so 2 mistakes here. 1, Murderous Rider could have killed this later if I'd have waited. 2, if I'd have tapped both my swamps for this. Oh, I didn't have 5 green, never mind. I probably should have tapped both swamps though, because if I would have found the right land, I could have escaped this. I didn't find the right land, so we weren't punished. I'm holding this land in my hand, so that way if they downtick this Ashiok, I don't have to exile my Cavalier of Thorns. So Ashiok bounces a card that makes us exile a card from our hand. Magic's fun. I enjoy Magic the Gathering. It's my favorite game. Oh, I missed Fusion. You're right. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. So my cards care about enchantments and creatures being in my graveyard, so lands, instants, and sorcerers are the ones I want to escape off of first. I think I want to, again, hold this Wolf Willow Haven, so that way, if they downtick Ashiok on my Urdo, I don't have to exile it. Yes, escaping is casting a card. It is an alternative casting cost from the graveyard. So when these attack or block, they exile 2 cards off my deck. Polukranos was actually the best draw in our deck there. Or do they have Doomblade? That's God bless America. That's super unfortunate. Punish for not, for not playing Woe Strider out. Oh, right, this draws a card when it attacks. Forgot about that. And triggers on enter and when it attacks. Of course. Yeah, main deck Despark. Maybe I just should have done that. Alright, this requires 4 cards to escape. I'm gonna sack this goat to try and scry into a Murderous Rider. Never forget, this Twitch stream was pre-recorded in front of a live studio audience. I'm gonna get a little greedy here, and I'm gonna kill their blocker, because those attackers and blockers are milling me for 2, and my deck's milling itself. So if I leave those in play, there's a good chance they could deck me. I get blown out there by a removal spell, but I think the risk to reward there is worthwhile. This just cantrips itself, right? I'm gonna hold some lands for any future Ashioks here. Yes, I can just play this out. We have 7 cards in our bin, so I can recur 1 of these. Should they sweep the board? They'll go to kill Murderous Rider. We'll sack it in response. They do have castle here. Good lord. Alright, 16 cards in our deck. Alright, Little Haven. 2-2 that could, eh? There's no guarantee they attack with it. So I think I'm supposed to bottom it, because in the event that they don't attack, I would like a random card. And in the event that they do attack, I'm also getting a random card.
This isn't a fight you can win.
I'm gonna sacrifice this to deny them the card draw, which may or may not be right. Lets me scry too, though. So missequencing on my opponent's part here. They should have done this pre-combat so I don't get value on my scry. They can still activate Castle this turn. That's super unfortunate. Well, So if I Cavalier, I go past these 5 cards, and then they get to exile my Murderous Riders. Which doesn't seem great. There are 2 Polukranos in the unknown cards, that's true. Hey, the man, the myth, the legend, Day 9 himself. All the great Magic Twitch people in here today. Hope you're having a great day, Sean. Yeah, I think we ignore Teferi and just kill them. If they draw a Wrath that they get to instant speed, they draw a Wrath that they get to instant speed. Hey, Day 9 doling out some sub-gifties. Welcome to our newest members of Hoaglandia. Oh, I can't play this inside of combat because I'm currently playing Hearthstone. Awkward. Thanks for the support, Sean. So, unfortunately, Teferi is preventing us from lethaling here. That being said, I think we need to play this and then cast it, so that way we can get it to the bottom of our deck so we don't deck out here. I'm holding back on this. There's 8 cards left in my deck here. Alright, didn't deck out against Esper. Step 1. Alright, so I did put 1 Jace in the sideboard here. So that way, in case it felt like we were in risk of decking out, we could just slide him right on in, and I think that's a good one. That was match 1, game 1. I also put 4 trophies in the sideboard because I'm expecting people to have graveyard hate in some of our matches, and this is just a good catch-all for the graveyard hate. What do I want to trim here? Is it crazy to trim Wolf Willow Haven? I don't really need acceleration against the control deck, right? So this is probably a fine cut. Need 1 more trim here. I might want these Agonizing Remorses too. Maybe I just bring in all the discard spells and I cut the bindings. I think binding is worse than Tiamat. Do I have enough creatures and enchantments to support this, though? I only have 20 creatures and enchantments total if I board like this. There's a lot of tension on this deck to try and fit in all the right things while we're sideboarding. I'm on 26 lands. I could be greedy and trim a land. I'm on the draw. I put 2 bindings in. Binding kinda draws me lands. Let's do that. I'm going to cut a Fabled Passage on the draw and board like this. Yeah, the Woe Strider being the cheeky one of over the quasi-duplicate paid super dividends that game. Seems great. Needs a second black source at some point, but won't need that right away. Ah, yes. Thought sees your thought sees. The fact that multiple Uros are never awkward. I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad. Kinda happy. Kinda happy. 6-6. Go. Thanks for the 1.5 years, Sailor Dark. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You just got awkward? No, I have a 3-mana 6-6. What do you mean awkward? This is great. And this thing still draws a card when it attacks, chat. That was a great draw. You get to go Swift End or Narset, attack you for 6, draw a card. Thanks, I appreciate you, opponent. Take back all those bad things I ever said about you. Oh no! Don't take my Titan away! How will I ever win the game after you take my Titan away? Alright, so... Maybe just do this, right? Just like thing go. And then like, if they have a removal spell for this, we just like trophy the Hushbringer, untap, slam Cavalier, put enough things in our bin to like escape. Alright, we've all been there, okay? Don't act like you've never played your own Into the Battlefield creature into a torpor orb before. Yeah, this is not the way you want to fight the Titans. I think Graveyard Hate is probably the way you want to fight the Titans. It's probably the answer. I think we just do this and this. The many heads of Hydra. Yeah, 3-mana Ashiok seems fine. Grafdigger's Cage is a great choice. Leyline of the Void is an option. I mean, the animations in general in Arena are just stunning. They do such a good job with them. Hey, Civil Penguin. Thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Let's do choose a card name. You cast spell with the chosen name. Draw 2 cards. Sure. Okay, so I don't get a goat, but I don't think I'm ready to trophy this just yet. Like, we're pretty far ahead on board. We're drawing an extra card every turn. They choose a card name. When they cast that card, they get to draw 2 cards.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand. I have just the trick for this.
Woe Strider insulating from Epic Downfall is great too. All right, so I think now we're ready to trophy this Hushbringer. We trophy the Hushbringer, and then Woe Strider kills Narset. This hits them, and we play Cavalier of Thorns. All right, I have 7. That's real good. This fills the bin. There's already 7 cards in my bin, so this drops 4 more in there for these Nature's Titans to come back. And like, if they answer my board, I don't think I really need that. If they answer my board, the Cavalier puts a good card back on top of my deck still. Yeah. Yeah, is Woe Strider a card I want more of? Is it possible that I want more Woe Strider? Is it possible that Tamiyo's unnecessary in this deck? There's a good chance we can't afford to plus her too often, right? I'm gonna put this split in the other direction. I'm gonna put a second Strider and I'm gonna cut the second Tamiyo. I like that Tamiyo's like can randomly pick something up from our graveyard. It's like Demonic Tutor in the late game. Update the Stream Decker. This hand's great, right? Oh, we're top 1,000 now. Are we? Am I supposed to clickbait the title? Am I supposed to add top mythic player to my stream title now? I feel like I've seen the other cool kids do that. Black red. Something aggressive comes this way. Okay. Couple different directions we can take here. This has Menace, so we're gonna have a hard time blocking it regardless of what we play. If I play Uro out here, we have 3 mana currently, 4, this would give us 5. If I draw another land for next turn, I could double 3 mana spell if I Uro. I think the potential to double 3 mana spell next turn makes this nice. Although I guess there's also the fact that I don't have triple black makes that a little awkward. Maybe the fact that I would need to draw double running black sources makes this bad. The fact that Woe Strider escapes for only 4 cards is a big deal too. Like Polukranos needs 6 to escape and Titan takes 5. Our hand's actually pretty resistant to a drill bit here. That's true. This card also gains us life for some reason. Draws a card, gains 3 life, puts a land from your hand into play. Oh, Simic. Oh, Simic cards. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot it gained us 3 life. If I'm being entirely truthful, the fact that it gained me 3 life had slipped my mind. The Uro animation is very good. It's probably the top animation from the set, which is saying something because there's a lot of good animations in this set. Yeah, this is a tough one. They might want to take Polyk. Polyk, like, fights multiple of their little dudes, and I'm pretty far off of escaping it. And then, like, if I escape this, I'm less likely to escape this. Hey, J-Dub the Lefty, thanks for the 2nd month of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. It's my favorite animation overall. The cast out hand grab is up there for being pretty thematic. Well, that untapped black source here was our best possible draw. It allows me to go Tiamat Calls the Dead and Murderous Rider this turn, which is huge. So I'm not going to be escaping both of these, and I think I'd rather escape Uro than Polukranos. Oh, I can get rid of this. Never mind. Forgot this can exile enchantments too. I'm going to go ahead and just Murderous Rider the Stormfist so they don't draw another card here. We've got 5 cards in our bin now, which means we're 1 short of escaping this back, but Calls the Dead is going to mill us for 3 more next turn. So that means we can likely Uro next turn. Huh? With the 7/6, would I rather Polukranos? No, I can Murderous Rider, right? I can Uro plus Rider. This deck is silly. Alright, exile Wolfwood Haven. So, draw 3, yep. I get to pass here. They have to discard a card to the Regisaur. We get to kill it with Murderous Rider. So, if I Murderous Rider proactively, I could attack there, but getting a 2-for-1 out of it feels good. They discarded an Embercleave, which based on their board state and their mana, that means they have another Embercleave here. So the fact that they've implied they have another Embercleave actually means I'm going to let them go to combat. And I'm going to go ahead and block. This incidentally gains us life 2, right? Yeah, we get to scry 2, gain 2. I totally messed up there and gave them 3 extra mana. I apologize. That could cost us the game. That could cost the game. I was talking and clicking at the same time. Because this gets Death Touch now next turn. Yeah, they knew about the Rider, but they were definitely equipping it there. It was one of those autopilot things that's just like actually going to end up mattering a ton here. Can we Polukranos? Not yet. Next turn we can Polukranos now. The problem is it's a double strike and death touch. So like they need a 6th land to equip this and hit us. So this is a game that we're probably gonna lose. That like if I just like am not doing 2 things at once, we end up winning. Because the fact they get to pump this up to a 5 whatever this turn means we're dead. How does Polukranos, Trample, and Death Touch interact, chat? I think they only have to assign 1 to the Polukranos, right? It's not like I wanted to, right? They only have to assign 1? Yeah, they only have to assign 1. We're at a pretty high life total, though. I use them to fight to dodge. Do I have enough? This takes 6 to escape. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't have enough mana to escape this and fight with it. Oh. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. May I have another? That's pretty good. That's really good. All right. Yep. Something, something, better lucky than good. Something, something. Do we attack with Uro to gain life? Yeah, I think so. Listen, chat, I would like the record to reflect that I tried. I also forgot to exile their Gutter Bones. I forgot to exile. No, they picked the Gutter Bones up. I'm an idiot. Never mind. I would like the record to reflect that I tried really hard to lose this game. In my defense, I tried as hard as I could to take this game and spike it into the garbage can. I gave them 3 free mana. I say the deck knows it should have won this game, and it's trying its darndest to make that a reality. I do only have 3 black, that is correct, but 1 Murderous Rider cast over the next 2 turns is fine. Especially when they have to worry about dying on the backswing. Yeah, we'll triple block the knight. They'll pump. We'll Murderous Rider. We'll take 6 total down to 13. We'll have our squad along with Uro to gain some more life. This is also going to pick a creature back up from my discard pile next turn, so I can actually just pick Polukranos back up and then have him fight the spawn without escaping him. Third saga on this is pick a land or creature back up. Okay, that's unexpected. But still fine. Yeah, pretty sure I just want the Unchained for a discount here. Hey, Lunar Chaos Dragon, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's get my scry on. There's a user with their name in chat. Just because someone's in chat doesn't mean they're ghosting. I know if I'm watching someone stream and I queue into them, I will frequently just mute or pause and minimize it, which still counts you as being in chat, I believe. So. And if they are ghosting, who cares? Like, if winning this ladder match is that important to them, they need it way more than I do. Yeah, that's true. So Polukranos pays 3 to fight something at instant speed. My big takeaway from these last 2 decks has been that Tymaret Calls the Dead, my assessment during the spoiler season of this card likely being reasonable, was pretty spot on. This card's been super impressive in the last 2 decks that we've played. It's like a pretty playable effect all on its own, and the fact that it incidentally enables our graveyard synergies is huge. No blocks. Go to whatever. Oh, lifelink. Yikes. Okay. Well, that makes this marginally more complicated. All right, how about if I do this? We have a lot of resources, chat. A lot of things. We've got all the right things in all the right places. Do 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 do. Hey, nice, Trusty. In my opinion, Modern is in a better spot when decks like Humans are playable, so I hope it is. Hope that deck is sweet. So we'll play this. We'll exile a Binding, get a 2/2. We have a Murderous Rider to kill this last Blacklands. If I hadn't messed up, we'd have been in garbage time for a while. The fact that I punted meant that they had a shot this game, and our deck's just been more powerful than theirs, it feels like. My friend. Hey, Titans. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube stuff. Welcome to a live one. Good to have you here. Yeah, it's been a good set of games so far. If you didn't catch the Jeskai Alliance deck before the Calyx deck, that one was also good. They had kind of a rocky start because the first couple we played were medium, but they're dead, right? They're dead to this Polukranos escaping. Hey, thanks for the 8 months. So he escapes as a 12-12. Little giant ain't got nothing on my friendo. He's got so many heads, chat. Is Murderous Rider the only spell that's not from Theros? There are an incredible number of new cards in this deck, aren't there? Cavalier of Thorns is on a new card. All right, so red, black, aggro. My sideboard doesn't really have a lot of help here, huh? Tamiyo and Thought Erasure sound a little bit slow and clunky. This is probably an Aether Gust matchup. It's probably a trophy matchup. Do I trim a Cavalier just because it's a little bit slow as well? That's probably good logic. I could trim a Wolfwood Haven. I'm not really accelerating into anything as much. This card actually might be a little suspect in this deck. We might want to think on other cards I could play early because, like, I guess the fixing's okay, but I only have 8 cards that cost 4 or more, right? This might be a slot that I want to consider doing something else with it. Some other creature or enchantment. You want a Goose to randomly turn to Uro. I don't know that that's actually that useful. I think the new basics are fine. I like things that are unique. I personally don't care for the visuals of them a little bit, but I'm glad they exist so other people can like them. Overall, I think Theros kind of hit the ball out of the park from a design perspective. I feel like there's a number of cards in this set that are playable but not overbearing, which is a good spot to be. It feels so far, and like maybe it's too early to say this, I could end up eating crow for this, but like it feels like they hit a sweet spot of these cards are playable but not obnoxious. Well, we'll see. It's still super early in the format. I have hope though. This hand's a little bit of a clunker. Is there another good, cheap 2-drop we could play that interacts with the board well? That's like good against aggro that we could play over Wolfwood? Hey, just play some Doomblades, I guess, right? We could play like some Tyrant Scorns or something, I suppose. Not my bits. Yeah, Paradise Druid just isn't like a real card against these aggro decks most of the time. Mire Triton. I don't know the text box on that one. Is that the one that lets you mill yourself? Like the 2-drop that mills yourself? 2/1 Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard and you gain 2. Yeah, that's actually kind of perfect. I kind of like Mire Triton. All right. Let's try some of those over the Wolfwoods after this. That's sweet. It's a removal spell. It gains us life. I'm into it. Has neat art. The art is also excellent. Very true. That was a good draw after they just took our cards away. We'd love to draw an untapped land next turn so we can curve into Calls the Dead. Hopefully they play a land and then pump this and we trophy it after they pump it. No blocks. You have a Regisaur. Just get this out of here. I took the hit from this rather than killing it inside of combat because if they had like a Regisaur, I'd rather kill that. You can always find the deck list by accessing the Stream Decker widget. You can also type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. That's so brutal. Absolute worst case scenario for us. This buys us a ton of time, right? So we're gonna keep that there. I'm gonna be a salty dog and say that our opponent played that really well, almost like they knew we drew the Assassin's Trophy after they drill bitted us. Because, like, they knew all of the spells in our hand that they knew about, they knew didn't do anything to the Rotting Regisaur. Thanks for the 22 months, Night Stars. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to grab this second forest out of my deck before we accidentally mill it over here. Probably dead here. I guess if we draw a green source, the Cavalier does some good work. Is ghosting against the TOS arena? It's not. So ghosting is explicitly allowed. So, and, you know, you can't prove it either way, so it's what it is. That's fine. Look, listen, they're rank 63. This probably means a lot to them. If they need it, they need it. Or maybe they have it muted and they're just a savant. You can't know. Can't know for sure. Had a bunch of deck submissions, it looks like, while we're playing today. That's great to see. Remember, if you've got a sweet standard deck that you'd like to see played on stream, or if you have a sweet standard deck idea, so both this deck and the Calyx deck we played before this were viewer submissions. They said, hey, Jeff, build around this card or concept. If you want to learn the details about how to get your idea played on stream, check out my website there, bit.ly/HugelSellout for short. As a lawyer, Dr. Astronaut, I can know for sure. Sounds right. The Calyx deck was awesome. I was expecting it to not be great, and it far exceeded my expectations. What a great URL. Listen, we are many things, but I am not a liar. You always find honesty and transparency here. Alright, if we hit an untapped land next turn, we get to play Polukranos, which would be nice. I do not Titan. Yeah, this is still the same player. We're going to game 3 here. Still playing against Knights. The enchantment deck wasn't good. It was great, Tower Knight. I didn't say it was good. I said it was great. That's a good draw. It's the third green source for this too, so we'll fetch black and get to Murderous Rider or something. They have a drill bit here too. We're probably dead. Yeah, I guess we might be okay. So, do I jam Cavalier? If I jam Cavalier and they have a removal spell, I end up in a lot of trouble. I also, Cavalier can't block this. I think I just pass and plan to Gust plus Rider here. End up going down to 4 with that line. Yeah, generic things like that are fine. As always, if you're unsure what... oh, I'm dumb. I should have killed these before they attacked, right? Now they can Embercleave me. Yeah, I'm gonna die to Embercleave here. Because I made a mistake. Should have made these 2 plays pre-combat. Yeah, it's a bad beat. So a little spooky the second game, punted the third game. Had a good first game though. No, I don't think I can win. I think if they have Embercleave, I just can't win, so it doesn't matter. So, should have done that at Enter Combat. Even if I did that at Enter Combat, if they have any other pressure to follow it up, I'm like at 4, and the Gunner Bones with the cleave the next turn cleaves through my Cavalier anyways, so pretty good chance we were dead regardless. Oh, I forgot to make the change. I'm annoyed. I was annoyed that I made a mistake and I forgot to add the Mire Triton. I'm gonna lead on the Fabled Passage here for the second swamp, so that way I can have Murderous Rider up on 3 potentially. It's fine. At the end of the day, winning a particular match of Magic doesn't matter. I don't really care about the rank. Getting in the top 1,200 of the rank season means you can win $19 or $18 worth of gems. It's like, woohoo. It's not really significant. Will the good old Belcher days ever return? You mean losing with terrible decks? Nah. Pioneer's way better than playing terrible decks like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean about good old Belcher days. Did you watch us play the Epic Storm in Legacy recently? The Epic Storm's kind of like a playable Belcher deck. We played that 3 times in the last month. That's really great. Real good. There's playable meme cannon deck in Pioneer. There's not, because Pioneer's a good format. Yeah, in MTGO, you, like, spew real money when you lose because it's online gambling. Here, it's just, like, it's kind of whatever. Vomit. By different, do you mean bad? I agree with you, it's different in that it's bad. Do I just play this and hope they can't do anything and then I get to eat their stuff the following turn? Almost certainly a Thassa deck. So far, a lot of the cards that they've played look like the Temur Elementals deck that Croquis and Savitz have been working on. Probably dead to Nissa here. One thing that's important to remember, a lot of these decks we've been playing that seem sweet, we've mostly been playing against them with other sweet decks. So like, until the dust settles and more people are playing the good decks, like the various Simic decks that we know exist, it's hard to measure whether or not our decks are really good, because like so far we're mostly playing our untested decks against other untested decks. So like, as what happens every season, it's not surprising if we like settle into the format and we're like, oh, this deck we played week 1 that was sweet in our run there ends up not actually being good. Hey, thanks for the biddies, Rhino. Alright, so I think I want my extra discard spells. I want my Grasp and my Aether Gust. I'm going to trim Tamiyo. I'm going to trim a couple Bindings. Tiamat doesn't really block here. I'm gonna leave a couple extra bindings in. I'm boarding down on my total enchantment count, which makes Tiamat less good. This needs creatures or enchantments to flip over. Nice, Judd. Opponent taking their good sweet time. Yeah, hopefully the mono white aggro deck withstands the test of time. That one got added back to the queue, and the queue's not very large for standard right now, so we'll probably be playing that one tomorrow again. Yeah, I have a note Owl Knight. I just forgot in between this game and the last one. That's a great draw. Gives me something to do with my mana here. Gain control of a creature. Hey, Mike, we are playing an incredible number of... We're playing an incredible number of good cards in this deck. Which not all Hoaglandia decks can profess to do that. I think I want to rebuy Uro, or would I rather have a Murderous Rider in the bank? Rider in the bank's probably good. Six kills them real quick if they stumble. Oh, you know what? I should fetch with this first, right? Filling my bin's also good for Uro here. I can bin for a backup Poly K. I feel like the problem with that card, Pikes, is a lot of constructed decks, you're not going to get to use both the first two modes on it. I looked at that card a lot when I built the Calyx deck, and I think it's just a little bit too narrow. So, knock you to 7. Can I just do this? I could just do this, though. I could also Polukranos, fight this, hold up Aether Gust. I think I'd rather do this. If I really lucky and hit an untapped blue land here, I get to gust this as well, which would be the stones. But like, they're super low on life here, right? So like putting another 6/6 into play sounds super appealing. Yeah. It just stumbled too long. We did not play your white-black deck today. I think that one got missed getting added to the queue yesterday. I'm gonna make a note to double check all donations. Yesterday was a long day. You sent a minimum donation, right? So that means it should be towards the bottom. Wouldn't have been up today anyways. The Calyx deck, I think, has been my favorite so far. Jeskai Alliance deck was good, but the Abzan Calyx deck, Black-White Calyx, was a real treat. This hand needs a blue source, and we're on the draw with the Scry, so I'm going to keep it. Calyx, the bot does not have the new cards yet. Nothing but net, chat. Nothing but net. We might get to it tomorrow or Monday, depending on how many submissions we have, though. The standard queue still not too crowded. And I'm playing a lot these next few days. Gemin, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having an excellent day wherever you are. One thing that's exciting, by the way, I don't think I've mentioned yet today. So normally during the week, let's think about this real quick. They have Dub's Risen Reef. I probably just want to take one of these, right? Like, they're a 2-for-1 otherwise, because I need to kill it. Like, Uro getting disputed is going to feel kind of bad, but it is what it is. Sorry, to complete my train of thought, during the week, normally I've been ending by 2:30. Christy and I have hired an after-school sitter, so I'm going to be streaming later, 2 to 3 days a week. I think every Monday and Wednesday at a minimum. I'm going to be going till about 5 o'clock. So I'll have a little bit more Hoagland content in general moving forward. Yeah, that would be ideal, Cube. I have no... It should be trivial for these people to update it, but apparently it takes a lot of work. Alright, so we're kind of at an impasse here. Do I want to play the Titan and accelerate and let them trigger the Reef again? I feel like I don't. I feel like I'm just supposed to do this and pass. It sucks because I know this dispute is coming, but if they don't hit a land this turn and they jam the Omnath... Oh, they're just jamming Cavalier? Sure. In. This is a little scary. We get to draw 2 cards next turn at least, but we do need a Murderous Rider to kill this. I guess a green Cavalier would also do. Green Cavalier blocks it. Yeah, that's kind of been my take so far too, Rang. It feels like they hit a sweet spot of cards that are good, but not overbearing. Swish, chat, swish. This doesn't really accomplish anything. They have an enchantment removal spell in their hand, so let's bottom it. Guy Fieri Ball, thank you for the entire year of support. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Welcome.
We will not fail. Be wary of the grand.
That's unfortunate. That lets them dispute me. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. So I get to go ahead and grasp Nissa, and then these only tap for 1, right? Are they going to dispute this just for tempo? They might dispute this just for tempo. So, like, they can dispute, I can pay, but then I don't get another spell this turn. Which isn't terrible, depending on how their mana lines up for the rest here. If they float mana, that doesn't matter, because I just change phases. I really think it's a mistake that they haven't banned this card. I think they should have just taken this card out when they took out the rest of the garbage. I think it's definitely part of the stains of 2019. Hey, Nosers, DMT, thank you for the half a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. You attack for 3 here on this? Probably dead. So I can Rider this, and then Uro, but Uro dies, and I only go to 6, because I'm going to lose 2, and then they have 6 guaranteed, so even if these are blanks, we're just dead no matter what we do, right? I don't have quad black, so I can't Rider and then play Rider and chump. Yeah. I can't escape this yet because I don't have enough cards in my bin. If I had enough cards in my bin, I could escape this, hit the land, and then Rider something and be potentially alive, but it's a little bit short there. All right, let's get the Mire Triton in here for the last match and see how that feels. The ramp spell's been pretty middling. So we don't have too much to ramp up into. Mire Triton was a recommendation for a possible another 2-drop. This card enables our graveyard-based stuff, gains us some life, and the fact that it has Death Touch makes it a pseudo-removal spell against aggressive decks seems potentially very good. It's doing a lot of the things we're interested in doing. That's true. It is a shame it can't trade with Questing Beast. It is one beastly it misses. Yeah, yes, it's fine. Not amazing, but fine. Definitely in the range of keepable. Oh, that's a good catch. It's a zombie for the 3rd chapter of this too. That's great. Murderous Rider is incidentally a zombie as well, right? Bring out your dead? Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. I'm not dead yet. Yeah, I've only got one Tamiyo in here. Her down tick's real good once we fill our bin up. The problem with her is that with all our other cards that put stuff in our bin, there's a real chance that her plus decks us relatively quickly. Like, we can't afford to do it too much. Am I supposed to Thought Erasure here? I feel like I probably am. She is a 4-mana don't impact the board, is relevant. Do I want to start building my board, or do I want to Thought Erasure? It is somewhat appealing to get Tymaret into play and start just making dorks. I think I'm just supposed to do this. It's like snag another Risen Reef. Well, they don't have any blue mana, huh? Except for the goose. I think I take Leafkin. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna trade 2 points of damage for 1 point of damage here. They're not blocking, so if I hit them for 2, they can tip me for 1. Never forget, chat, the shuffler's as rigged as the earth is flat. Do you remember? I remember.
I am Tamiyo. It is an honor to meet you.
Alright, what's my best hit here? She's probably down ticking for a land next turn. What are we even looking for at this point? Is it just a removal spell for Risen Reef? Murderous Rider? Murderous Rider's not bad. Polyk could also be good, but I have more Murderous Riders than Polyks. Wasn't gonna hit regardless. You can't name lands when you uptick. So next turn we'll down tick, grab a land, go. Thought Erasure calls the dead. Oh, there is a rider in the bin too, isn't there? Yeah. Do we kill the goose? Maybe? It is their line for blue mana. The question is, can we kill them before they get to that point? Probably.
Do not harm my scrolls.
Oh, you know what? I'm probably milling myself here anyways, right? I guess I could just grab Murderous Rider. Yeah, let's just kill the goose.
I have learned much from my ancestors.
Let's see if this gamble pays off. Are we a discard deck? Well, I mean, we're a black mid-range deck. Yeah, they have a blue in hand, but, like, their deck needs a lot of blue mana. Okay, there's some Uros. Not bad. Shuffler confirmed flat, yep. So I need to turn off auto-ordered triggered abilities here because I want to make sure I mill before I scry next turn. Just J4K, thanks for shipping your Prime back this way again. I appreciate the third of your support. Oh, you think we need my 5th Thought Erasure is right here. So I want to stack this, so this goes and then this goes. I also get an extra scry this way. Hey, thanks for the 13 months, Shathik. And again, for people that aren't familiar with the arena interface, that's an option in the gameplay. Yeah, those are great. I think I want to draw Murderous Rider. Did I just like bin the rest of these? Oh, these aren't binning, these are scrying. So that's different. Things to note. Yeah, I think I just Rider. I think I just keep the Rider on top. Do I want all of these? I guess I don't need this if I'm not binning it, because I already have plenty of those. Polukranos is probably good, though. Oh, I actually don't have the blue to do this. That's awkward. Okay, well, I guess I plus this and then name Murderous Rider here, then. Is the line? Yeah, that's definitely the line. If I downtick for blue mana, Brazen Borrower kills her. Is the issue. This is an adventure card here. So I'm just gonna name Murderous Rider. I don't mind putting Woe Strider and Polukranos into the bin. I guess if I was doing this, I could have left the other Uro on top. Just build up my center hand here a little bit more. We got zones, chat. We got zones on zones on zones. There's really no point in attacking.
We can figure a way out of this. Let's think this through.
Hey, they drew me another card. Thanks, opponent.
You are setting a bad example.
Yeah, opponent is on the mill us out plane, apparently. What do we got in here? So this is mana number 6. Definitely playing 6 mana worth of stuff this turn. What am I ridering? Yeah, if you go to the subscribers Discord server, there's a document in there that has all of the cards in it that you could easily import into decks and craft. Yeah, it might be a little defensive. This is the part where they like draw the actual bomb now. So again, instant sorceries and lands are the first things you want to exile. we've got enough miscellaneous stuff in here that doesn't really matter. So Polukranos can pay 3 to fight something, and whenever he takes damage, he loses that many 1/1 counters. Like most of the animations in Magic Arena, the escape animation is very well done. Guess I start by attacking with everything here, huh? Escape is great. All variations of flashback are A-okay in my book. Escape is a great take on the flashback mechanic. Jumpstart begs to differ. So Jumpstart isn't actually card advantage. Jumpstart is converting one type of resource into another type of resource. So I actually think Escape is much better than Jumpstart. I think I just pass here and like hold up double Polukranos activations. I think Escape is good fixed flashback. Yeah, I agree with that. He's off the chain, chat. He's off the chain. All right, so Mire Triton's not good here. Aether Gust, Noxious Grasp, Agonizing Remorse seem good. Tamiyo's kinda whatever. I guess the 2/2s ended up killing them there. Are the 2/2s meaningful? Is this a card I'm interested in this matchup? I feel like our discard spells are great. If I trim this, I might be cutting too much of our self-mill. I only have Binding at that point and Cavalier. I don't want to dilute our game plan too much, I don't think. Yeah, do I want Jace as a backup? I've cut a land before today. Cutting a land on the draws probably. Yeah, the 2/2s are really bad against their 0/3s. That's true. It took forever. $25 lands. This is kind of a land too. It's a hard sell wanting to ramp the ramp deck though. I think I leave this in because it beats them down. Is Laziv not great in this deck? The stat line on Laziv is pretty underwhelming. So like a 1/3 doesn't really line up fantastically into like what the aggressive decks of this format are doing. Like both Knights and the white aggro deck quickly outsize and embarrass it. Like if there was a traditional red aggro deck that was good in this format, I think Laziv would be powerful if it was like blocking cheap red threats. But because those don't exist, I think that card stock is pretty medium. Just gonna fetch now to get that auto pass EV in. Hold up, Gust / Grasp here. Their passage is a little bit awkward. Having to dedicate to a single color is not great. Would really like to draw some more shock lands here, so we get a little bit more informed decision with the passage. That sucks. Yeah, I mean that happens. Can't do anything about it. Lightning Strike's not standard legal. So disagree with your assessment. Also, a lightning strike hitting your creature is very different than a lightning strike hitting your face. Fundamentally, they end up being very, very different things. Yeah, Laziv is cute in conjunction with the Titan, because you could theoretically, like, Laz on 2, Titan on 3, make Laz a 6/6 on 4.
Always an answer.
Sure, but, like, the saying, like, cheap creatures with reasonable defense aren't good against the red deck because the red deck has removal spells for it is, like, really nonsense. How is Uroben? Reasonable. Our deck's not really abusing the strong part of Uro. I think we're going to be too far gone this game. It's had too many turns where I couldn't use my mana. The fact that my second black source was tapped here was a really big deal. Their hand's going to have to be pretty exceptionally bad for us to still be in this game, I think. Like, if they just have Nissa next turn, which should be too far behind, most likely. If they don't have a meaningful play here, we have a shot, but... okay. This could just be one of those games where the ramp deck has a bunch of air. They could also have Agent of Treachery or the new Thassa enchantment, though. Is this deck more of a Polukranos deck that has Titan? I think the distinction you're asking me to clarify is arbitrary and not useful to clarify. I think regardless of if I answer your question, it doesn't tell us anything meaningful. Aether, maybe this isn't an Aether Gust matchup. It's pretty embarrassing against their big blue cards. So this mills us both for 3, exile a couple of cards. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if we had a green land to get to play a Cavalier, maybe we could be okay. I might cut these Gusts for the last game. Yeah, let's cut the Gusts. You can tell you've been playing this deck for a while. Arena's starting to chug. Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Put my land back in, put trophy in. Sounds fine. Mystical Dispute's fine. It's, like, good for a window. The problem is, like, the opponent's deck gets so much mana that it does draw dead relatively quickly. So you can, like, get their first play with it, but, like, their second or third play, so if you draw it anytime in the mid-game, it can often be useless. I have no idea, Gold Dead Ringer. Figuring out whether or not things like that are necessary takes a lot of practice. There's just no substitute for experience with Magic. There's so many variables that you can only theory craft so much, and you just, like, actually have to play games and figure out if it's helpful or not. You want to play a bunch of games in a matchup that you expect to go long, and then try and figure that out. Hey, Vincenzo. Thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope your weekend's going swell. Fall of Troy. Thanks for cashing that Prime for the second month. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Disdainful Stroke is a card that's very reasonable here. And again, sideboards, even in general, just early in the format, kind of guessworky. You don't know exactly what you're going to be playing against a lot of the time. Third land tier is great. Lets us Uro next turn and hopefully hit another land to get 2 shots at a 4th land to get that into play. Maybe play Cavalier of Thorns ahead of curve. I'm actually going to go ahead and play Binding of the Titan this turn rather than run headfirst into a potential Mystic Dispute. It's been okay, Space Martin. I don't know that what we're doing here is necessarily better than, like, what these other Simic decks are doing. Like, we're doing something that's kind of novel, but on a fundamental level, I think what we're doing is a bit weaker than, like, what these other Simic decks are doing. Feels bad, man. There's a good chance that we're just, like, trying to be a mid-range deck in the ramp decks world. Like, ramp decks, Nissa makes mid-range largely unplayable, is just the cold hard truth about how formats work. Ramp slaughters mid-range, and Nissa is the best ramp payoff quite possibly ever printed in terms of, like, these kind of creature-y ramp decks that aren't, like, Ugin size. So, like, play a Polukranos here. And try and run them down while they stumble. If we both stumble, we could go Poly K into Cavalier and maybe kill them. We can go Poly K into Cavalier into Uro. Well, Passage for Island did let us play Uro. Do we think that's better? If so, why? Can you explain? Alright, so they have Mystic Dispute up here potentially, so I definitely don't want to play an Uro this turn. The moment when I learned that you can't beat Ugin regardless of how many creatures you have is a sad day for Magic. Yep. It's a hard knock life. Do 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 beep 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 do 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 do. I just made 10 copies of Grey Merchant off a Mirror Match trigger. That's pretty good. Alright, they found a land. We found a Thought Erasure. Okay, let's start by attacking. So do I Erasure, or do I just, like, hold up some interaction here? If I Erasure and they dispute me, I feel pretty bad. If 6 here. I could Erasure, fight something, and trophy. That's probably the line. Unlocking their mana doesn't seem particularly exciting, though. Yeah, it kind of felt like they had a dispute. This could be wrong to fight through just because there's a good chance they just have all gasoline. Wow, their hand is not what I was expecting. Definitely would have been much better off just double fighting. I don't know if it was right with the information that I have to double fight, but it is what it is. Their hand is about to look very different. It is accurate. We need to fade Agent of Treachery for like 800 draws here. Like to Thassa, blink something at end of turn 2. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're ending on this match with this deck. Feel like it highlights a fundamental flaw with trying to play mid-range in this format. think I'm just passing. It's gonna hold up the ability to eat Murderous Rider here. Our Owl's very excited, at least. Is mid-range viable in any format? Legacy? Ramp decks dominate it in Modern. The red Pioneer deck, the big red deck is basically a mid-range deck, right? I don't know about really good. I think aggressively slanted mid-range is probably okay. Pauper. I don't think mid-range is actually very good in Pauper. I'm not super familiar with that format, though. From my understanding, Pauper is very much about grindy control decks, which makes mid-range a lot worse. I'm gonna trade these. Okay, trophy's not a terrible draw, because it means I can Uro, not pay for Mystic Dispute, have Rider, have trophy. So I expect them to dispute this. I'm just not gonna pay. Sinister Sabotage? That's interesting. I wasn't expecting an actual hard counter out of them. It's weird. So, deck felt competitive against aggro. Against the other blue-green decks, I think we were just the smaller fish. And you just don't want to be the second biggest deck in the format. So, like, I could kill my Cavalier. There was a Mystic Dispute heads up in their hand, Twitch chat. So they could counter our Murderous Rider and then take our Cavalier. And then, like, I could trophy their Agent of Treachery, but at that point, I don't have any pressure, and they're generating a lot of card advantage, or they have our Cavalier to beat us down. So. And they could also have a hard counter in their hand, too, or other things going on, like they had hard counters in their deck. Yeah, I feel like this was kind of just like playing the second biggest thing in the other breeding pool matchups, and I just don't think you could probably get this deck to a reasonable spot in the other breeding pool decks. If you really wanted to try and slog it out with this, I think playing a bunch of copies of Disdainful Stroke is probably your best tool. However, because they have a bunch of Mystic Disputes that they get to board in against us anyways, that's probably not going to win you that many matchups. Azachiel, thank you for the half of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right. We are going to wrap up with what I'm hoping ends up being the playable mid-range deck in this format. We're going to close with some Black Devotion today, which on the back of Grey Merchant giving you an incredible amount of reach, I think there's a chance that this is a mid-range deck that can keep up with what the Rampness Index are doing. I'm going to do a quick ad roll while I get set up for this one. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, everyone. Don't go anywhere.